My wife is cheating on me and supporting another man financially. She even tells him not to sleep with his wife so he can save energy for her. And again, I never thought I'd have to confront another man about my wife, let alone do it in disguise. But that's exactly what happened. So, let me take you back. My name's David, and for the longest time, I thought I had everything figured out. I had a good job, a loving wife, and 2 beautiful kids. Things were solid, or at least I thought they were. But, like most people, I never imagined I would be the one sitting here telling a story like this. My life has always been ordinary, just like everyone else's. Or, so I thought. At first, everything seemed fine. Sarah, my wife, was everything I could have asked for. She was kind-hearted, always going out of her way to help others. I'd often joke about her being the local hero in our community, always sending food, money, or clothes to people who needed them. And honestly, I admired her for it. That's the woman I married. Or at least, that's the woman I thought I married. One day, she said, "Oh, this man at the office needs help, David. He's struggling with his marriage. His finances are a mess. His kids are suffering." That's what she'd say when she talked about Tom. At first, I didn't think much of it. She's just being generous, I told myself. He's just someone who needed a little help getting back on his feet. So she started helping him out. Sometimes, I brought out my money to help out too, paying for his car repairs when it broke down, helping him with rent when he couldn't afford it, things like that. It all seemed harmless. In fact, I was proud of her, proud that she wanted to help a guy who was going through a rough time. But then, things started to feel a little off. She'd talk about him more and more. At first, it was just casual, but then she started telling me details I didn't need to know. He's such a great guy, David. His wife doesn't appreciate him. His kids are struggling, and he's been trying to make things work for them. Every conversation seemed to revolve around him, and it was all so perfectly innocent, right? She was just helping him. Until one day, I caught a glimpse of her phone, a message I couldn't ignore. I wasn't snooping. I swear I wasn't. But one evening, while we were having dinner, her phone lit up on the table. I didn't mean to read the message, but I saw it. The words hit me like a ton of bricks. It was a text message response from Tom. He had replied to my wife's message, which said, "Don't sleep with your wife tonight. I want your energy complete. I'm ovulating. Let's be careful too." It took a moment for the words to sink in. What the hell did that even mean? And why was my wife telling another man to save his energy? I tried to ignore it at first. I thought maybe I was overreacting. Maybe it didn't mean what I thought it did. But deep down, I knew something was wrong. I just needed more evidence. So I started noticing more signs. Her phone always buzzing. More late-night conversations. She would leave the room to take calls, and every time I asked who it was, she'd brush it off with a smile, saying it was nothing important. But I could tell it was more than that. I started to feel like I was in the dark, like she was keeping something from me. Of course she was, but I chose to live in denial of what I was seeing. But it didn't stop there. No, it got worse. Much worse. Sarah was sending him money every month. Not small amounts, but big sums. Rent money, car repairs, emergency funds. I don't know exactly how much, but I saw the transactions, and I knew something was off. She never told me about this money, and when I asked, she always had an excuse. "Oh, it's just helping him out. It's nothing serious, David. He needs it." But here's the part that really threw me off. A few days later, I was in the kitchen, trying to throw something together for dinner. I wasn't really looking for anything, just grabbing ingredients when I saw it. The receipt. It was lying there, carelessly tossed next to the stack of papers on the counter. I picked it up, and my heart sank. There it was, in black and white, 40 for an IT course. I stared at it for a long time, trying to process it. I couldn't believe it. She paid this much for Tom, the same guy who's been all over our lives for the past few months. I didn't know what to think. When I confronted her about it later, I was still trying to wrap my head around it. "Sarah, where did this money come from? I didn't know you had that kind of cash saved up." And what did she say? "I just saved it up, David. It's not a big deal." Just like that. No big deal. But I wasn't buying it. She'd been hiding things from me for months. And now this? It felt like another piece of the puzzle I'd been trying to solve, and it didn't fit. She never told me she had this much saved. But why was she paying for this guy's education while I was struggling to make ends meet? And then again, I started noticing something else. The toys. Sarah came home one day with 2 basketballs, exactly the same, both with the same brand and design. I was a little confused when I saw them. Why would she buy 2 of the exact same basketballs? I asked her, "Why are you getting 2? Are we giving one to someone else?" She shrugged and said, "One's for our son, the other is for Tom's son." For a moment, I just stood there, feeling a bit off. "Why?" I asked, trying to keep the confusion out of my voice. "Why are you buying almost exactly the same thing for his kid, just like ours?" She didn't seem to think much of it. "They need it. I thought it would be nice for them to have one too." At that moment, I realized something that made me uncomfortable. I understood that she was trying to help, that she wanted to do something kind for Tom's kids, but buying almost exactly the same thing she buys for our own kids, it just felt wrong. It felt awkward. Maybe I was overthinking it. Maybe I was the only one who felt that way. But something about it just didn't sit right with me. Why was she doing this for them? I couldn't help but feel like I was just watching a stranger take over a life that should have been ours. And here's where it gets worse. I started seeing something even more troubling. I saw her packing food, stew, rice, egusi soup, and putting it in a cooler. It was the same kind of food we ate, but she wasn't taking it to her family. No, she was driving to Tom's house, delivering it to him. I watched her drive off one day, and I saw the cooler in the back seat of the car. That was the moment everything hit me. She was cooking for him. She was feeding him. helping him, and I had no idea why. But even then, I stayed quiet. I tried to convince myself it was just a phase. Maybe I was just being paranoid. But the truth was becoming undeniable. So, one night, I confronted her. I asked her, "Why are you doing this, Sarah? Why are you helping him so much? Why are you spending money on him, buying toys for his kids, cooking meals for him?" And her response, she started flipping the blame onto me. "You're never home, David. You're always working. You don't care about me anymore. I need someone who will be there for me." That was the moment I knew. It wasn't just the money. It wasn't just the toys or the food. It was her. She had been sleeping with him. All this time, while I was working my ass off to provide for our family, she was betraying me with him. I never saw it coming. I stayed faithful. I stayed true. And this is what I got in return. Now, I'm sitting here thinking about what comes next. My marriage? It's over. My heart? It's shattered. And the worst part? Sarah's mother is begging me to forgive her. But how do I forgive someone who's done this to me? How do I look at the woman I married and see her the same way? I don't recognize her anymore. I don't even recognize myself. I've lost everything. My trust, my love, my family. So, after days of debating with myself, I decided I needed to do something drastic. I wasn't going to confront Sarah again. Not yet. I needed answers. Real answers. I had to meet Tom. But how do you meet a man who's been sleeping with your wife without him knowing who you are? How do you confront the man who's been living the life you should have been living with your wife without tipping him off? So, I came up with a plan. I decided to disguise myself as a delivery man. You know, something simple. A uniform, a cap, carrying a box, just like any other day. He wouldn't suspect a thing. I even thought about renting a van, but I didn't want to go too far. I didn't want to make him think I was some kind of special delivery service. Just enough to catch him off guard. I set the plan in motion. I called him up, pretending to be from a courier company. "Hi Tom, I've got a delivery for you," I said. "I'll be there in 30 minutes. Just need you to sign for it when I arrive." He didn't hesitate. "Okay, sure, I'll be home." It was like he didn't even suspect a thing. I could hear the calm in his voice, the comfort in his tone. I almost wanted to laugh at how easy it was, but I wasn't laughing. No, this wasn't funny anymore. This was personal. And here's where it gets tense. I drove to his place, my heart racing. The whole way there, my mind was spinning. What was I going to say? How would he react when he saw me? Was he going to deny everything? Try to talk his way out of it? Would he act like I was the crazy one for confronting him? I pulled up in front of his house. A small, modest building. Nothing flashy. But I already knew, deep down, that he was living a life he shouldn't be living. A life that belonged to me. I took a deep breath, adjusted the cab, and grabbed the package I'd set up. It was a small, nondescript box. Nothing to draw attention. Just a simple delivery. I rang the doorbell, my hands shaking, but I had to keep it together. This was it. The moment where everything changed. The door opened. There he was, Tom. He was taller than I imagined, but he had that look cocky, smug, like everything was his for the taking. I could see the surprise flash across his face when he saw me. He covered it quickly, trying to act normal. "Delivery for you," I said, keeping my voice calm. He nodded, stepped back, and let me inside. I handed him the box and watched his eyes dart to the label, probably checking to see who sent it. But I wasn't interested in playing games anymore. I was done pretending. I wasn't going to let him get away with it. I wanted him to feel the weight of what he had done. So I leaned in, just enough so he could hear me clearly, and said, "You've been sleeping with my wife." For a second, he didn't move. He didn't say anything. His face went blank, and I could see his mind working, processing, trying to figure out if I knew the truth. And then his expression changed. He smiled. That damn smile. Like he was proud of what he had done. And that's when I realized this wasn't just some innocent affair. No, this was something deeper. "You know, I figured you'd find out eventually," he said, still smirking, like he had already won. I felt my blood boil. "You're right," I said, my voice low. "I know everything. The money, the food deliveries. I saw it all. I just wanted to see the man who's been ruining my family." For a moment there was silence, but then he stepped forward. He didn't back away. No, he leaned in closer. That's when I knew that he was arrogant. He wasn't afraid of me. He had no shame. "Your wife is just looking for someone who appreciates her, man," he said, his voice cool. "She's been doing this for a long time. I'm just giving her what she wants. You couldn't be bothered to do it." So I stepped in. I stood there, seething with anger, but I didn't say anything. What could I say? The truth was right there, staring me in the face. Tom didn't think I was a threat. He thought I was just some fool who was going to back off. But I wasn't backing off. Not anymore. This man had crossed the line in ways I couldn't even put into words. And now I had one choice. I could either let it go or do something about it. "You'll never see my wife again," I said through clenched teeth, staring him down. "This ends here. And if I ever find out you've been in my life again, you'll regret it." He smirked again, like it didn't bother him at all. And as I turned to leave, I felt a strange sense of victory. Not because I had won, but because I had finally confronted the man who had stolen my life. I left his house feeling a strange mix of anger and relief. But deep down, I knew the truth. The battle was far from over. When I got home, Sarah was waiting for me. Her eyes were red, her face puffy from crying. I could see she knew something had happened. But she had no idea how much I knew. I wasn't ready to confront her yet. Not in the way I should have. Instead, I told her that I was done. But I couldn't live in this lie anymore. I don't care again. I've seen enough and I'm done. No more checking her phone. No more questions. No more pretending I'm in control of a situation that's been beyond my control from the start. I'm just here now, living in the same house, but we're nothing more than roommates. At this point, I stopped pretending. I stopped looking for signs, stopped trying to piece together the fragments of what used to be my life with Sarah. I don't need to know who she's talking to or what's going on behind closed doors anymore. I've seen enough. And frankly, I've had enough. This isn't about trust anymore. It's about survival. You ever reach a point where you just throw in the towel? When you realize that no matter how much you want things to work out, they just never will? That's where I am now. I spent months, maybe even years, trying to piece together what went wrong. And now, I don't care. Sarah, she's not the woman I'm married anymore. She's just a person I share a house with. Nothing more, nothing less. Things are different now. I'm different. So now, I'm living as if she's just another stranger in my life. There's no passion anymore. There's no trust. She's still asking me, begging me to come back, to find a way to make things work. But I'm done. She might be my wife on paper, but we're not a couple. We're not even close. It's like we're two people passing through the same space, roles we don't believe in anymore. And I've stopped worrying about what she's doing. Honestly, I'm not even sure I care if she stays or goes at this point. It's been months, and she still asks me, when are we going to try again? Can't we make this work? I still love you. And it's always the same response from me now. I'm done, Sarah. I don't say it with anger or bitterness, just a calm finality that I didn't have before. I'd been through the pain, through the lies, and now I am just exhausted. I've moved on, slowly, quietly, but I've done it. There's this girl I've been seeing. Her name's Emily. She's everything Sarah isn't. She listens, she cares, and she's real. No games, no drama. I can actually talk to her without feeling like I'm being played. At first, I wasn't sure if it was a rebound, but now it feels different. It feels right, and I've started spending on her, doing things for her, be things I never did for Sarah, because I was too busy being caught up in the mess of my failing marriage. I can't even begin to explain how messed up that feels. Here I am, doing things I should have been doing for my wife all along, but it's with someone else now. And as much as I regret marrying Sarah, as much as I regret not seeing the signs earlier, part of me feels like it's too late for regret. The truth is, I don't care what Sarah does anymore. I know she's still trying. I know she's still holding on to whatever thread of hope she can grasp. But me? I'm past it. Even if she decided to leave tomorrow, I wouldn't care. I wouldn't beg her to stay. I've been living like this, just existing next to her. And I've realized I can do it without her. I don't need her. I don't need to fix things. I don't need her love. And I don't want it. I've been looking for closure, but what I found is something even better. Freedom. She's still here, asking, when will you come back? We can work this out. I'll change. I'll do better. But what's the point? The truth is, I've already checked out. I've lived in this house with her, acting like everything's fine for far too long. And now, I'm ready to live my own life. I don't care about her problems anymore. And I certainly don't care about fixing something that's been broken beyond repair. I used to care. I used to worry about every little thing she did. I used to check her phone, ask questions, dig for answers, hoping that somehow we could go back to what we had. But I've realized now, none of it matters. I don't need to know what she's doing anymore. She's not my wife anymore. She's just someone I share a roof with. And you know what? Even if she decides to leave tomorrow, it won't affect me. I don't care. Not anymore. The past is the past, and I'm ready to move on. I'm not holding on to this empty house of memories anymore. I'm done with the pretending, done with the lies. My life is mine again. And for the first time in a long time, I'm starting to feel like myself again. Thank you for watching. Please support us by subscribing, liking, and commenting.